Hi everyone, this is The Way of Fairness. My name is Stephen Childs. I'm a spiritual atheist, so when people talk about God, or if I want to use the word God, sometimes I do. It's a matter of what I believe it actually is. What is God? So what we've been told was that God, there's one God, basically, that, the Christian idea. It began in the Old Testament, where there's one God. That there was many gods at first, and over time they decided to use the most powerful God, and then it became the only God. So you can see the way it was created by the development of the mythology. The idea that there's one God, all-powerful, all-knowing, and in all places, that created us by design, but from his all-powerful knowledge. So that's how humans came to be, and that's how the earth was formed, and that's how the animals were created, and that's all there is to it. So we don't have evidence of that. And the problem of evil, why did he create evil? It doesn't work for me. So what does work is some of the mystics talk a different way about God. And like Meister Eckhart, I'm listening to Ibn Arabi again, from Sufi 1300s. And they talk more like what we hear from science. Their concepts are more aligned with what we have learned through science. I really appreciate Ibn Arabi's ideas that, for example, that the future's already happened. So it's not being created. It's already created in the first place. So with linear time, there's a number line, and with the way of oneness, it's a circle, and the whole circle is created at once, past, present, and future. So then it's also created that we have to make choices. That's part of what was created at once. So it's kind of interesting. It's difficult to visualize, but there's a freedom in it. There's a freedom in that knowledge, and it fits in some way. So I have evidence that something knows the future because I have precognitive dreams. Somebody's telling me about the future. It might be like, since everything is one whole, all of the future is in that whole. So whatever does happen is within that circle that contains everything. So we do have free choice, but it's kind of like both at the same time. Anyway, my concept of God is that everything is one thing, oneness, and at first there was no consciousness, there was no mind. So how, this is about how the earth came to be and how we came to be on the earth. Well, we can see from science that it's something similar to the Big Bang happened. And the gravity, see, there's no mind involved in this. Gravity and natural physical laws, other physical laws form the earth, and randomness develops replicating chemistry, and life begins to happen. And then through evolution, those who have a knowledge of what's outside of them survive better, so the development of mind happens. And so that's how we came to be. There's no conscious being involved in this at all. And so we have evidence. We can explain how that can happen. We can't explain how a God could come to be from what? Why is there a God? Where did God come from? Did something create God? You know, the argument is if nothing created God, then why not just skip that step and say that nothing created us? So you're basically saying there's something really unknown either way on why is there something rather than nothing kind of thing. Anyway, so when people are talking about God, I am thinking about we came from biological evolution and natural processes that formed the planet in the first place and the stars. So that's what God is that. So God is the oneness of everything. Everything is one thing. That's when people talk about God, or when I talk about God, I'm talking about this oneness. That everything is within. No exception. I don't have to believe in an all-powerful, all-knowing God to have this devotion I've developed through meditation and through research. I know that there's something guiding me, that there's something here. I was told that there's a war against the people that are controlling us. The side that's guiding me wants us to be free. And so I just read the last video is just me reading the oppression is unfairness, and AI came up with the examples from religion because I'm using the ideas of God in the document. It gives examples of scriptures that are against humans doing other humans wrong. So I really appreciate what it came up with. I'm amazed, actually, that it says when we are doing each other wrong, we're doing God wrong. We're disrespecting God when we do others wrong. It's like namaste. I recognize the God that's within you. So if I'm doing you wrong, I'm doing God wrong. So if you take the word God and put another O in it, then it's good. The force of good, rather than the force of God, the power of good. So we don't want unfairness to win this war for the future. Who rules the future? Not necessarily a who, but what? What rules us? Fairness or unfairness? Freedom or domination? Subjugation? So the people that are using the Bible but are not concerned with being fair to everyone, they are doing us a lot of damage, especially with Trump and MAGA, serving Trump and the Christian nationalists, the white Christian nationalists. People make comments all the time about how they're not Christ-like. How can they claim to be Christian? You know. So that whatever evidence shows up that seems to be true to me, that's what I believe tentatively, is what I have the best evidence for. My beliefs are not rigid. I can just change what I believe when I get new evidence of what is actually true. That's what I'm seeking, is what is actually true. So that's another word for what God is. God is truth. And God is fairness. The way it was when I grew up, we were told what God is, and I grew up in the LDS religion, and we were told that morality comes strictly from that God. So they told us to forgive, but they didn't really teach us the dynamics of forgiveness in a psychological way. So this is about psychology, not about dogma from the past. This is about what we're learning from modern psychology. Our Constitution says we have the right to pursue happiness. So this is what it's about. It's about happiness. So we can see logically that fear is a problem that ruins our life. It destroys our happiness. So there's like a bully power we're facing. And where we're at now, most people have had to surrender to that bully power. But there's a few of us that fight against it because we're directed to in our dreams. That's how I am. So, I've been given dreams. There's a community of extraterrestrials that have been trapped here that have control of our planet. So it matches up with the reptilian idea, where they're in the elite families, the rulers. They rule the ones with power, then they rule the world. Because the people in power serve them. So where I'm at now I'm making friends with them. And the people that are underneath them, the beings that are ruled by them, they're joining with me. So the powers that rule them are going to have to adopt this way of fairness, the World Fairness Agreement. And I was given a dream about it 40 years ago, early 90s. And so the dreams have been ongoing, but I had a whole bunch at that time. Mostly in the 90s when I had a Kundalini awakening spontaneously. And so my connection to these other beings went from a little bit connected maybe to extremely connected in a matter of a few weeks. The issue that is on the front burner with the controllers, and with my response to them, the most powerful ones that give me the dreams, they don't really interact. They gave me the symbolic dreams, and they don't do it for me. They know I'm interacting with I'll call them reptilians, or vampires is another good word for what they are. Because they get their life from us, from our life, our flesh and blood. Not that they eat us. They just control us. They exist through us vicariously. They don't have a separate existence. They live within our mind and nowhere else. They're not out there. They're in here. They're not out there to be found. So they're not extraterrestrial. They might have been originally, and they might have their planet might have been destroyed, and they already had access to the human mind, the life on Earth, and so they stayed in existence through. They became immortal through changing their how they are, what they are. So now they're just a secondary being from within the life on Earth. That explains it. This is a hypothesis of what they are that matches the dreams I've been given. So my spirit friend just told me, good job, I'm doing good with what I'm saying. They're not going to correct it. I have to figure this out. So, in the dream, I become the guide for them, and they stop controlling us. They don't get kicked off. They don't die. We don't die. Humans die. We're born and we die. That's the way it is. Is there an afterlife? I don't care. The fact is, whatever the truth of it is what's factual. There are no facts that are not true. People are trying to suggest that you can have a fact that isn't true. No, it's not. That's not truth. They're changing the meaning of the word. So these other beings are saying that I'm going to die because I'm not surrendered to their Jesus. They use Jesus. So it's really strange how the Christian religion, you drink the blood and eat the flesh of Jesus. And so there were people early on that saying this is vampiric. And so I researched the origination of vampires, and it predates the all-powerful God. It's back in the day of many gods. And there was mythological beings that were like that. They were like monsters that would eat and eat people. So that's what went into the Christian religion. The power of that. The reptilians. So at the basis of Christianity, there's this branch of it that is strictly ruled by vampiric reptilians that eat the flesh and blood of the humans, and they're immortal. So they have to have our blood to live. See the parallel? So as I'm making this video, their power, the reptilian vampires, they're my friends that exist within our mind, that they don't have any existence outside, and they're going to stop controlling me because there's a war against them, but I wanted to be friends with them. So they're very upset that we're all going to die because of what I'm doing right here. Well, they're trying to scare people away from listening to me because I'm not. The afterlife is secondary. The first primary job we have on Earth is to not destroy our own planet through our own ignorance. So whatever's after our life here, that takes care of itself. I don't need to worry about that. It's what I need to worry about is not doing other people wrong. Because if I'm doing other people wrong, I'm doing God wrong. And when you do God wrong, you go to hell. That's the story. Because most people are doing other people wrong, we're going to hell. Right here and now. Earth is becoming our hell for the living, not for the afterlife. A living hell. And it's because we're disrespecting God. We're doing other people wrong. God is them. God is the oneness. The oneness is what everything is. The oneness is what I am. It's what the ocean is, the stars, all the people. It's the only thing there is to be. And it can either become evil or good, depending on the choices that we make, people that make choices, animals that make choices, beyond humans that make choices. See, rocks and mountains, stars, physical matter without mind, there's not a good and an evil for them. They're not in this struggle for goodness in their life. They don't have a life. So the people have attachment to the old religions, to the existing religions, that are preventing them from making choices that enable us to save ourselves, from our own unfairness. Their religion requires them to be unfair to the non-members. So their religion tells them that what happens in the future is God's will, this other entity, and they don't have to worry about protecting Earth from environmental damage because God's got that handled. That's how they think. So they're thoughtless when it comes to actual reality. They're not in actual reality because of the religions. And you can see how it happened that way because we didn't have explanations. Where did consciousness come from? It came from God. It's God gives us our self, our conscious self. And what I'm saying is the one thing that's everything didn't have any consciousness until it evolved biologically. Without mind involved, there was no mind involved. Now, the one is conscious. Because we're conscious, it's us. So we are its conscious mind. We are its love. It's like Meister Eckhart said. The love that you have for God is the love that God has for you. And the eye that sees God is the same eye that God sees you with. One vision, one love. So this is the Church of Fairness that I'm talking about. It's a religion, and I'm still trying to make it a thing. It's a very limited thing as far as any evidence of it. The only evidence of it is in the minds of the people that I've told it about. There's no roster, there's no list of members. And that's good. That's the way we want it. We want the thing to just take over the world by invitation. It's not a takeover. It's a change of belief that happens and a change of behavior that happens within the people because of the Church of Fairness. And I count the same as everybody else. Have a great day. I love you.